do not ever communicate to your family members how much you earn. Hey beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Yolandi if you are joining us for the first time, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So in today's video we are talking all about black tax and how to handle it if you are a black young South African or a black young professional. I'm going to give you guys the lowdown, the lockdown, the tea. I'm gonna spill it all. So let's get into the video. So firstly, I would like to start by just giving you an idea of what black tax is. So what is black tax? Black tax is actually the term that originated in South Africa for money that black people, especially professionals such as you and I, and others with higher income, give their parents, siblings, or other family members. Often more so out of obligation or a deep ingrained sense of family responsibility. It is caused by the continued unfortunate economic imbalances that can be traced back to apartheid years as well as slavery, and to a lack of social services that could assist poor family members as well. Personally, I don't like referring to it as black tax because I feel like there's such a negative connotation to it, but I see it as my personal responsibility to pour back into home. So before we get into some of my views with regards to black tax, as well as some of the boundaries that you need to set and the do's and the don'ts, I first want to give you guys a bit of a background in terms of who I am, where I come from, in what type of household I grew up in, so that you can either say, Yolandi, I actually can relate to your background, or Yolandi, I can't relate to your background. So I am from a family that had 3 kids, specifically my mom's kids. So I am the youngest of 3 siblings, and I'm also the only girl. So we grew up in a colored community. I grew up in a shack. I didn't live in a brick house. Absolutely not. I grew up in a shack, and you know what? My mom made the best of what we had. And the reason why I'm saying my mom is because for majority of my younger years, what I do remember is my mom and my dad being divorced. Okay, so I come from a family where my mom and my dad is divorced, and they got a divorce when I was 9 years old. So majority of my life they've been divorced. So the reason why I'm saying my mom made the best of what she had is because my mom worked a regular administrative job. Okay, my dad worked at the mine. My dad wasn't always present from a financial perspective, so my mom really had to struggle with us, guys. There were times where things weren't cute in that house. There were times where there wasn't enough food. There were times where our lights and our water was switched off. Okay, so I just want to give you guys this idea that I grew up in a disadvantaged environment. I was already put back when I started off as a professional, and that is where majority of us actually come from because of our country's background. Cool. So now that we have that little bit of background, I was the one that also went to varsity, the very first one that went to varsity out of my family. I went to varsity on NSFAS. My parents didn't have the money to send me to school. Okay, so I went to varsity and I made use of NSFAS. Thank God I qualified for that. And with NSFAS, with the bursary, with my dad, with my mom, all of them helping me out, my brothers as well, because they started working as well. So yeah, guys, that is my background. I'm someone that worked very hard for where I'm at today. I'm so grateful for all that I have. And actually, when I started doing research with regards to this video, I actually got so emotional because I thought about like how I grew up and where I'm at right now. Like right now in life, like I'm cruising nicely, I'm living nice, I've got a good job, I can take care of myself, I can look after myself, I can give myself anything that I want. And to be honest with you guys, I became so emotional and I'm so grateful for all my blessings, and that's why I just feel so obligated to share this information with you guys. So yeah, now that you guys kind of have an idea of my background, you know where I come from, let's get into some of my key views around black tax. So basically, when it comes to my views on black tax, to be honest with you guys, I don't like calling it black tax because it sounds negative. But like I said, I do see it as a responsibility that I have upon myself because I know that my parents did absolutely so much for me, you know, to get through school, to get through, primary, high school, varsity. When I moved into my first place, the first place I had was a cottage. Basically, they turned their garage into a cottage, and that's where I lived. That's where I started out. So my family really poured into so much into me as an individual, and for me to get where I'm at today, that I don't really feel obliged, but I feel like it's my responsibility to also send money home. The one thing I can also say about my family is that I was never ever forced to send money home, but you know, there were like subtle hints, but my family members never forced me to send money home. They never sat me down and said, yeah, you're working now, so you need to send money home every single month. It was a subtle thing, but I knew at least, you know, that is part of my responsibilities, and it's something that I wanted to do because, yeah, I only started sending back money home when I think was like in my third year of working. The first, the second year, my mom and my dad was fairly still earning their own income, but like in the third year they started like retiring. You know, my dad got hurt at work and unfortunately he couldn't continue working, so I had to step up as well. So I really see it as a responsibility from my side, and something that comes from the goodness of my heart that I really want to do for them because I want to see the quality of their lives improve. I see it as an investment because these are my folks, you know, these are my people. And the more that I can help them out and the more that I can improve their quality of life and the more I can make things easier for them, the longer they're going to live. And who doesn't want your parents to live for the longest of time? So basically, from a pros and cons perspective, pro, very big on the fact that it improves the quality of life, and then con is definitely that I think it does set us back financially compared to our other peers who don't really have that type of responsibility. But yeah, guys, it's another thing that we have to battle, unfortunately, as people of color in South Africa. Now let's talk a bit about boundaries. Now, what is a boundary? It is basically something that indicates an extent in terms of up to how far something can go. It is a line that says up to here and not beyond. It is basically a set of guidelines that is openly communicated on how one chooses to relate to others. They are defined by either our personal happiness, our needs, wants, and feelings, and they're also influenced by several factors such as either our core beliefs, our opinions, and societal teachings as well. In short, these guidelines are basically there to say, this is what I will allow in my life if you want to live with me, and this is what I won't allow. At first, I used to struggle with boundaries, okay? It's not something that comes easily. It's also not something that you can set as soon as you start working, because you also will learn your family members' patterns as you continue within your working journey. So it's something that I used to struggle with, but I had to literally learn so quickly. Otherwise, shame, I was not going to be where I'm at today, okay? Because one thing about family members, they will take advantage of you if you don't set up your boundaries. So don't be too hard on yourself if you haven't established them yet, but please make sure that you actually use what you're experiencing right now and what you're seeing from your family right now to actually set up your boundaries. Our parents grew up in a very different time than us. When they grew up, when they started working, I mean, they didn't go to varsity. My parents didn't go to varsity, but when they started working, they were either married already at the age of 22, 23, or they were still living at their parents' houses. So they grew up in different times and things have changed. And it's important to let them know that, listen here, me, I live in Joburg right now. I've got rent, I've got groceries, I've got transportation costs that I need to take care of. So I think this brings me to communication. Communication is so important when it comes to boundaries. Communicate your boundaries. Tell your people, this is the only amount that I can afford on a monthly basis. More than this, I am going to set myself back, and you don't want to set yourself back. So communicate with them. Listen, my mom asked for 5K. Unfortunately, I can't give you 5K. This is how much I can give you. So make sure that you communicate with them. Otherwise, they're going to continue taking advantage of you. And also, heart of steel sometimes. Sometimes you need to have a heart of steel and you need to say, no, I can't do something. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money, because most of the times what I found myself doing was putting myself back so that my family can be sorted. And that is not good, because then you just put yourself in a very bad state and it's not a place that you want to be in. Then I think it's also super important in terms of how you carry yourself. I think sometimes you can set boundaries subtly. For instance, just an example in terms of like my mom and my dad, I still send money back home, like I said earlier on. And like I came up with some way, some solution for me, because I used to struggle in the beginning, but especially with my dad, guys. Like my dad, I don't know, like he just spends his allowance just in jail the way he wants to. I don't know what he spends it on, but for instance, I send my mom and my dad money at the end of every month. But what I did with my dad, like my dad was someone that will come in the middle of the month and then all of a sudden he's asking for this much, this much, this much. And I started saying to him, like, sir, like, this is not how it's going to work, okay? Like, I was very subtle about it. I said to him, unfortunately, I don't have money right now. Even though I did, I was like, I don't have money right now, but I can give you at the end of the month, you know? So I was very kind of like subtle with how I used to move. My dad now knows not to ask me for money, especially like large amounts in the middle of the month. But one thing that I also learned was that if I have, for instance, 6,000 rand that I can send to my dad at the end of every month, right? I don't send him that entire 6,000 rand. I send him 3,000 rand at the end of the month, and in the middle of the month, I can send him another 3,000 rand. Because, for instance, with my dad, I know we're going to get to the middle of the month, and then he's going to say, hey, Sisi, make a plan, you know, make a plan, your dad needs money. But for instance, with my mom, if I had 6,000 rand to give her, I would give her that 6,000 rand at the end of every month, because one thing about my mom, she knows how to get through with her money, okay? So make sure that if you're not comfortable with regards to communicating like expressively or face-to-face or openly what your boundaries are, you can subtly create those boundaries as well, because people learn from those as well. Then another big boundary that I set is borrowing money. I do not like it. I don't borrow money to anyone, okay? I can rightfully just say right now, there are probably only 3 to 4 people in my life that I borrow money, and it's because I know we have an agreement that if that person gets that amount back or that person gets paid their salary, they will send me my money back. I've learned the hard way with family members with regards to borrowing money, okay? There was instances where I borrowed someone money and this person just never paid that money back, and it was a lot of money. And I'm talking, I had to dip into my savings to actually give this person money, and I still up to this day never got that money back. But that also taught me never to borrow that person money again. Like, that person can come to me and be like, hey, I actually need this, and I'm sorry, it's a difficult month. I don't have. Sorry, I had to buy this. I don't have. So I make sure when it comes to borrowing money, I do borrow money to like those 4 people in my life that I know is definitely going to pay me back. The others, I don't do that. People will also show you whether you can borrow their money or not. My dad also, my mom, my dad, I don't believe in borrowing their money because like I said, it's my responsibility. But also I've got that relationship with my mom and my dad where they know not to like, ask for excessive amounts of money, especially during the month, because I did give them their own money in like end of the month. But for instance, if there is something that is something big that my dad needs to buy, like either baby, I need to fix my car, or I need to buy tires, or I need to something, especially it's always his car, by the way. When I need to give money for that, he'll communicate it to me in advance and I can make changes with regards to that. Or my mom will say, hey sis, I actually need 1 2 3 for my kitchen, I need 1 2 3 for my house, please make a plan or save up for it in the next couple of months, and then buy it for me when you can. So yeah, the one other thing is borrowing money, guys. Don't get comfortable borrowing family members money. I do not stand by it, I don't believe in it, and I don't care. Like, I'm very hectic when it comes to my money because I work very hard for it. Don't borrow people money, especially extended family members. Sana, your cousins, your aunties. Just don't, okay? Just don't. Basically, in short, guys, if you do not set boundaries, they are going to take advantage of you. So make sure that you set clear boundaries or subtle boundaries, but your family needs to know where the line is, and you need to make sure that this is the line and we don't go above that line. Okay, so now we're getting into the do's and the don'ts, okay, of life in general. Number 1, do not ever communicate to your family members how much you earn. Don't ever tell them how much you earn, okay? Like, I hope my mom, my dad, my brothers aren't watching this, but do not tell them how much you earn. Like, that is a complete no. They will milk you dry. So yeah, my family members don't know how much I earn. They can assume, they can think, but yeah, Shamina, I don't tell them. My brothers like to ask some hints. Me, I'm a smart girl. They don't know how much I earn. So don't communicate to your family members how much you earn, because they are going to say, oh, this one earns this much, she doesn't have kids, she doesn't have this, she doesn't have that, she can give me X amount a month. And then when you have all your responsibilities, you want to go out, you want to live life, you want to travel, you struggle. Don't do that. So don't communicate how much you earn to your family members. The second one is, don't go into debt that you know you can't handle. If your mom wants to extend her house now all of a sudden because you just started working and your credit score is not that good just yet, they're giving you a hectic interest rate, don't take it up. If it's not something that you can easily include in your budget, do not take up debt that you don't have to, okay? Because that already just sets you back. And I know so many people currently that's still paying off debt in terms of when they started, or bizarre stuff that their parents wanted from them. Do not go into debt that you know for a fact you can't handle. Then the third thing is to set up a budget and to stick to it. I know it's difficult to sometimes stick to a budget, but guys, it's so important to stick to your budget. And I mean, include specific costs in there, such as emergency funds in your budget. Also make sure, something that I've actually learned and that has really helped me with regards to, just having a smoother December festivities, and it's actually something that I learned from Nicolette Mashile. She is the financial bunny. So I learned from her. One day I actually attended one of these seminars where she spoke, and she was talking about how she saves money every month towards December and January. Now we know how nice December is in South Africa, né? We know how nice it gets. You go home, they expect you to buy oxtail. These people didn't worry about oxtail the whole year. Now all of a sudden they want oxtail, they want lamb shank, they want all these nice things, bro. So set up your budget for December. I mean, from my side, I used to save 300 a month for December. Right now I'm in a comfortable spot where I can save 500 a month towards December, and I know that money is enough, number one, for me to like my spending in general, because when I go home, my parents expect me to take them out. My dad wants some Christmas clothes. My mom wants an outfit for church, you know. So like that allows me to do those things, to spend, go out with my friends a bit. It allows me to buy groceries for my mom as well. And it allows me to put my contribution towards the Christmas lunch, which is something that me and my brothers obviously contribute into. Then another thing that I also save for every month is my January. We know how January is, Musna. We know how it is, okay? And I know, we all know January comes every year. Why are we still struggling every January, guys? Like, it's embarrassing. Like, don't. Just like, that's not cute. Even if you save 200 Rand a month or 300 Rand a month towards January, definitely do it, because it's going to help you out. At this point in my life, I get by with my December and January money. I get by with it. It's enough to cover everything. I wanted to say who I need to help out in January sometimes, but it's fine. You know, I won't mention that because, like, family relationships, very important. But yeah, guys, make sure that you set up a budget and you stick to it as well. Then the fourth one, I wanted to remind you to always save up for big events. If you know that there is an event coming up in December, or there's an event coming up in October, from a family perspective, make sure that you save up for it and not just use your one salary for it. For instance, I knew 2 years ago my dad's 62nd birthday came up, so I had to make sure that I saved up for that on a monthly basis so that I can like sort him out. I know when my mom's birthday is coming up that she'll want something big for her kitchen, so I need to save up for that as well. If you guys have any like family celebrations that you guys need to do, save up for those specifically as well. It just makes it so much more easier than just using funds from one account or going for loans. If you guys actually want me to create a budget video, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm keen to create that as well. If you guys want me to help you out with like entry-level budgets or key things to think about when you're budgeting, or how to save some money when you're starting out working. And I mean, one of the smallest things that I can think of right now is just from a groceries perspective. I think when you move from varsity or you move from home into your own space, we always think about we need to buy like very big groceries every month, and to be honest with me, it's not working. I live alone. I waste so much, especially of my fresh produce. I waste so much of it and I just lose money on it. So right now I actually do a thing where I go every Sunday to go do some groceries to get like my fresh produce, my veggies and my fruits as well. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys actually want me to create a budgeting video, and I'll be gladly to do so. And that brings me to the end of today's video. If there is anything that you take away from today's video, is that we are trying to build generational wealth, guys. So don't do anything that is going to put you 10 steps back. We are already behind in terms of our white peers, so don't do something that's going to put you 10 steps back. More, 20 steps back actually. So thank you so much for watching today's video, but before I go, I would like to get your input specifically. If you are watching this as someone that is currently a professional and there was a specific way in terms of how you managed your family, please leave it in the comment section down below, and I'm sure someone else could learn from your experience as well. Or if you are currently someone that just started working and this video was very helpful to you, please let me know what are some of the key things that you're actually struggling with right now, and drop them in the comment section down below, and let's all weigh in, guys. I think it's something that we are experiencing as a nation, so when we come with solutions and we come with some advice, let's come as a nation as well. So let me know what you guys either experiencing or what your experience is within the comment sections down below. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope this helped you. If it did, give this video a big thumbs up, because that is going to help this video to get to other people as well, because the algorithm is going to pick it up. You guys know the drill, okay? And also go follow me on all my other social media platforms such as Instagram and TikTok. Until the next one, goodbye.